Okay, so who is to blame and what's going to happen next with this latest North Korean threat? Now, earlier today, chief negotiator for that 1994 nuclear deal with North Korea joined Neil Cavuto. And this is what Ambassador Robert Gallucci actually had to say.
I'm not blaming the North Korean activity on anyone but North Koreans.
Right.
They are the outlaws here. And what we're talking about are rational ways of dealing with that and what you can expect of the United States of America at any time. If we wanted to use force, could we crush this country? Yes. Is that the right thing to do? No.
Curious. Okay, joining me now, Liz Peek, Leah Gabrielle, and Captain Chuck Nash. Leah, I want to start with you because you were an intel operator in South Korea, a lot of finger pointing, but I think what people are wondering is how does this continue to happen? How do we stop this madman? Everyone agrees he's a madman from going any further.
Well, you're right. Everyone agrees that he is a madman, but this has been going on for a long time. You know, I remember back when, in 2004, when I was working intelligence operations, and South Korea was very concerned about North Korea developing its nuclear program, what was happening. The intelligence community was aware. So it's not that the intelligence community is having a failure. The intelligence community is aware. It's a matter of priorities and where the U.S. and other countries in the region have been placing their priorities in the past 10, 15 years, Charles.
So in other words, don't we have the ability to be omnipotent, at least with respect to people with nukes?
Well, omnipotent is a very strong word. But
I mean, we're only talking about maybe 5 or 6 people and 2 or 3 were bad actors.
But with intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance capabilities, with our working with regional allies, yes, you know, we will be using sensors on board different types of aircraft, different types of platforms to assess what exactly they've done. Keep in mind, North Korea makes claims that aren't true all the time. They can use lies and deception with their own people because they cut their people off from the rest of the world. That's why their own people are supporting us. They're excited because they think that they're being protected from the United States and all these oppressors. So North Korea is not honest. You can't expect them to be honest actors. Right now, we'll have evidence being collected. We'll have people analyzing that evidence to assess what exactly North Korea actually is doing, what they have done. But the important key point right now is analysts are still saying that it is very unlikely that North Korea actually has the capability of making a nuclear warhead small enough to actually hit us here in the United States. That being said, we cannot let this go unseen. We cannot let this go unnoticed.
This is the fourth time. This is the fourth time they've actually detonated or done a nuclear test. Captain Nash, if it was hydrogen, and right now I think everyone's writing that off, maybe another atomic bomb, in part because of the low levels, if no radiation, and also the earthquake wasn't big enough at just 5 on the Richter scale. Robert Gallucci, though, says we have the capability of crushing North Korea, but we shouldn't. Will there come a time when we have to rethink that?
I hope there doesn't come a time where we wish we had. And that's the real problem here, Charles. You don't know how bad it's going to get till it gets bad. Successive administrations mishandled North Korea, and now, as you point out, this is their 4th detonation of a nuclear device. They are a nuclear weapons-capable country. So all they have to do is marry that up with a missile, and if they don't have a missile that can get from here or from there to here, they've just recently started floating some sub-launch ballistic missile containers out under the water to start working on that technology. So how long will it be before they take a shorter range missile and get it submarine launch capable and park a couple subs off our coast?
Yeah, you know, Liz, this guy, Kim Jong-un, has got this sort of mentality where we wouldn't be surprised if he did have the capability if he used it. You know, we always knew that back in the day, maybe Russia would never do it because we retaliate. Now it's even despite the Cold War, but this guy is sort of a
He's off the reservation.
He's off the reservation.
Yes, there's no question.
And to Captain Nash's point, do we wait for them to actually get a hydrogen bomb, actually get a delivery system, and then just sit on pins and needles?
Well, you have to hope that he has his country's best interests at heart, and having said that, we
have
clearly
starved.
don't.
Millions of North Koreans have starved.
But a couple of years ago, they came out, and basically the new leader, tried to coalesce the world into greater trade and so forth, some economic development in North Korea. This is simply blackmail. This is what North Korea does to get attention and to get money. It's an absolutely desperately poor country. I think the best thing that happened today is that China is equally affronted and unhappy about this. In the past, we have been very reluctant to push back too hard because of China, but now China is saying, hey, this threatens us because of possible migration issues, and it threatens the entire region. So they're on our side.
I want to ask you, I look back at the last 3 times this was done in the stock market. The last 3 times, every single time the market went up. Today it got crushed.
Well, there's a lot of other things going on.
There are a lot of other things, but do you think that there's a general sense that the bad guys in the world have become belligerent and no longer fear America?
I think that's totally true. And I think the only thing you can say really that the Obama administration is responsible for is basically giving a free pass to the bullies of the world. And I think we have done that. I mean, the world has watched as we have allowed Iran and China and other bad actors to become increasingly aggressive, and we have done nothing.
And even though today the UN came through with condemnation, even China, spoke up. It always feels like ultimately if America's not there, Leah, to sort of make things happen, then, that's it. The barn door is open for these guys.
Well, of course, America has to take a leadership role in this. This is an administration that has been wanting to get regional allies in whatever region we're talking about to take more of a leadership role and has been trying to take a step back and be more focused on domestic issues. But this also can't be blamed. You'll hear politicians make this a big political argument and blame this all on the Obama administration. This goes way back. This has been a problem for a long time. It's been building, just like Iran built.
What about Bill Clinton, though?
Some are saying
it's some are tracing it all the way back to Bill Clinton, and of course, we had Robert Gallucci on earlier. I mean, there is, if nothing else, if we don't play the blame game, we could at least play the learning game and say, hey, maybe we cut the wrong deal with Iran, because ultimately, all of these guys get a shot to do what they want to do.
Well, it's a cumulative problem. And what you have when you're looking at national defense and protecting our homeland is the tactical term that we used to use in the F-18 community is you have to worry about the alligator closest to your canoe because that's the one that's going to get you first. And that's a lot of what the United States has been doing when you look at our national security policy over the past 10, 15, 20 years is what's the alligator closest to our canoe? Well, when we start seeing tests like this, when we start seeing the potential for North Korea to have a delivery system that can reach us, then people go, that alligator's getting a lot closer to our canoe. We've got to kill that alligator.
Captain Nash, I would say maybe it's time to have alligator season and start making some handbags out of these guys. But to the point that was just made, after World War II, we forced this pacifist constitution on Germany and Japan. I know Japan and Abe, he ran on this sort of old samurai spirit. We're going to renew Japan. And I think part of that has to be maybe ditching the article in their new constitution that keeps them pacifists. If America can't carry this load alone, and Japan faces a greater threat than we do.
They've already drafted a new part of Article 5, Charles, to your point. And they're looking at expanding what was formerly a defensive posture and looking to do more offensive and getting ready because they understand what's going on in the neighborhood. If you look at what China's doing in the South China Sea and now Korea, which has been a centuries old enemy of Japan. They're looking at it and they're wondering where we are, and they look at our Navy and we're down to 280 some ships right now and shrinking. So they're looking at that, and the Pacific is a big ocean.
It really is. I can tell you. I got a feeling that's going to be the next big hot spot for the next 50 years. All right, guys, thank you very much. Lee, I'm going to borrow that line. Alligator closest to the canoe. I like it. Thanks a lot.